Hello, I'm Lisa Turlington, the Executive Director of the Sampson Community College Foundation, and I'm excited today to kick off a new program giving you, our viewers, a chance to see firsthand what's happening in the classrooms here at SCC. We kick off the Peek in the Classroom series with art instructor Walt Smith and the students in his continuing education art classes. And hi, Walt, how are you?
Oh, Lisa, how are you today?
Good. Thank you for having us and letting us visit your studio.
Glad to have you here. We have really the only art studio arrangement on campus here. And we, of course, are operating here under the continuing education program. So if you will, let's take a look around. We can start right over here. We got Dolores Murphy and here's Linda Williams. By the way, I've been teaching art here for something in excess of 25 years, and by the time I got started, Linda was in the class and had been, and
so y'all kind of grown up together in art.
Well. And by the way, over here across the room, N.L. Starling also was in the class from early on. And
that's beautiful, the candles she's working on.
We were even doing some painting down in Roseboro back in those days.
Is that right?
But we settled in here well, and things have been going well for us. Mm-hmm. If you will, take a look over here at what Linda and what Lila Maxwell are working on. Linda is just laying this piece out here, and Lila has moved along here with the biker that she has here, and we might be able to get Lila to comment a bit on not only what she's doing, but also just who this is and what's going on.
Well, my husband just started biking about a year ago, and I decided that I wanted to do a painting of him, so I'm painting him in acrylic. Mm-hmm. This is very much a challenge. Walt's been teaching me how to get everything in perspective, because when you're looking at the front of the bike, the wheel itself does not go round. Mm-hmm. And without Walt, I think I would be totally lost.
That is what a challenge you're taking on there.
Well, if it's not a challenge, then it's not worth it.
Very good comment.
There you go,
now, here's another aspect of what we have going. Linda Price here is working on. Well, look, for one thing, don't we have quite a contrast between what Lila's working on and what Linda's working on?
You sure do. There's so much variety here.
Yeah, well, that's the thrust of what we're after here. Mm-hmm. It's to let everyone get into the subject that they're interested in working with the medium that they want to learn in. By the way, Linda Price here, working with this, comes up from Lumberton.
Oh, wow.
For our classes.
So you have a drive to get here.
Yes, I come up here. I'm from Clinton originally, and I come up here to visit my mother. And this is one of the highlights of my week, is to be able to come up here and enjoy painting. I'm a beginner. This is my first year doing this, but Walt is very positive and encouraging, and he guides us without telling us exactly what to do. So we have a lot of room for creativity and expression that I really love.
Here's behind us over here at our face toward it. We see what Marie Lucas has just finished up with, and is now as she is here at the easel here working on a new painting. And if you'll notice what we have with that, more of the flowers. Marie is a wonderful gardener, and combines her interest and abilities in that regard with what she's doing creatively. Otherwise, here with the art. So we've produced any number of mighty fine paintings. Amelia Surratt is working this, doing obviously a very fine painting. And I mentioned within that context, Amelia has worked in the Small House show that's up right now. And by the way, also we have Joan Carr, who's just over here, has her work in the Small House show as well. Martha Smith, who is not in this class, but in one or the other, it has some work in that same show. We've had some good paintings get started. You haven't been in the class here very long, have you, Deanna?
About 2 years.
In the class about 2 years?
Yes.
Okay.
I enjoy it.
Did you paint before you started in the class, Deanna, or are you new to
No.
painting?
I just like being creative and doing new things.
Yeah. Great. Wonderful opportunity to do that here.
As we go on around here, let's sort of take a look over toward the back room. En route here is Henry Moss working on one of his pieces, and he has another back in the back room we can take a look at that he's has in process.
Beautiful.
Not Henry had worked this up. Notice the size.
Man, that's
And-
quite an undertaking.
This is something that I actually did 25 years ago
Really?
in acrylic. This is oil,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't have all the skills that I have now, so I wasn't ever happy with it.
Uh-huh.
So basically what I did was I reworked it in oil.
Right.
It's the same canvas.
Uh-huh.
I sanded down some of the spots in it that I didn't like,
Uh-huh.
and brought it in, had my friend here take a look at it.
Right?
And he made some nice comments and told me some things that I should try to work on, and I'm just bringing it back for his comments today.
Mr. Jerry here is doing a building, and it's a very special house, and it's special for a couple of reasons. One is because of the sentimental attachment that he can elaborate on for us, but the other is because this is one of Jerry's real areas of expertise and effort. He even not unrecently painted a picture of a Harper House at Bentonville.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huh,
as a matter of
haven't
fact, did that as a commission for someone.
seen- Very nice.
And so, well, talking about going, why don't we go on over and take a look at the show?
That sounds great.
All
Looking
right.
forward to it.
Good.
And here we are about to tour the Continuing Education Student Art Show that is running through the rest of April. And Walt's going to tell us a little bit about some of the work we have from the students that we've already visited down in the studio. Walt, tell us a little about this work.
See here, the drawing of the dachshund that Laurie Hamilton did, and I'm sure her name will ring a bell with a number of folks. She, of course, is on the faculty here in animal husbandry, and is a wonderful artist, and particularly as connected with the subject matter that she has. So we see the drawing, and then here, and then as we move on down the line, we saw where Amelia Surratt
Yes.
has these next two pieces that we have here. We saw the wonderful work that she was doing there in the classroom, even now. This one she did from an actual setup that she had of these objects.
And it is
Took
her
a
grandmother's
photograph of-
placemat?
Yes,
Is that
in fact
right?
it is, yes.
It's beautiful.
And so she's combined her interest in photography with the painting as she does. And here again, such a wonderful job of the detail work on this particular painting.
Right.
The next one down the line is another drawing done by Lynn Ward, and this is her husband, who was. This is sort of in memorial for him, since he passed away. Let's look across the way and see what Joan Carr has done with this. She took a nice photograph when she was up in the mountains, and this is not an, if you will, copy of that photograph. We worked from that photograph and worked out a composition that would work particularly well as far as this painting would do.
So you get to see the Christmas trees there.
See the
too.
Christmas trees, which and can see them far better in this painting than you could see them in that photograph.
Oh, that's great.
And the same with the building. Back across the way, we see some work done by Martha Smith. She's quite a watercolorist, and uses watercolor in a rather extreme fashion. As you can see, the comparison between the one we're looking at now and the next one along, and then even the third one, where we have some great detail that has gone into. And by the way, this is was done as in connection with some small house activity. Over across the way, we see what Mary Lou Faircloth here from Clinton has done. She just started painting with us.
That's right. I was thinking she's brand new to
within
painting.
this past year. Yeah, so she's done those. In the next ones down, we back over on the wall here, where we have this very fine painting by Laura Marshall, and her sister Deborah Thompson is also in the class. Deborah's is in the next painting that we have here, and it is an interesting story to that. Her son has told her he wanted a painting of a barn, and wanted it in the field, wanted to make sure there was a tractor in the painting, wanted some deer in the painting, and so forth and so forth. So Deborah tried to work from those instructions and come up with what we have here. And we used various photographs and whatnot to come up with the imagery that we would put into it. We have Henry Moss's two of his pieces that he's done here for the show, and a particularly good portrait of his granddaughter here next that he did such a wonderful job on.
I'm proud of that.
So we have Lila Maxwell's showing here next, and within that, she actually took a photograph of this in Florida, the swimming pool and whatnot, and has quite a challenge as far as getting all of the not only the color, but what particularly was happening so much as far as the lighting effect.
Well, and the angles, it seems like the perspective
Yeah,
on it would be
wonderful composition. And the next that we have down is actually from one of the powwow setups that she attended. Where she took photographs there and worked from them.
So that is a co-Harry Native
Very
American.
definitely so, and
Beautiful.
she's been in contact with the individual whom it is, and so forth. So really into it. A little on the next three down, we can see some diversity in application and the techniques that we used, particularly as we go on down, we can see. Well, actually, this was done from looking at an object, a model ship, and then extrapolating from that to come up with
On the sea.
put it on the sea and against the rocks, and with a tremendous challenge as far as against the rocks. And
Jesse Matthews?
yeah, Jesse Matthews,
Very
who
nice.
some folks in the area might know well. The next technique that was used here by Carol.
Or Juanita Pearsall?
Pearsall is sort of an impasto in which the paint is put on very thick,
You can see
and
it.
you can see how
Our
she
viewers
worked
will
that.
be able to
to work.
see how thick that is, but it.
Right.
Okay. And let's continue down the hallway and see the rest of this lovely work here. Tell us some more, Walt, about some of the artists and things we're seeing here.
Okay, well, we see what Marie Lucas had done. We saw her
Very
over
nice.
in the studio. These two pieces that she's done, and
And those are
followed-
pretty with the irises.
followed by the three paintings that Annelle Starling has done.
And we saw her working on the
Saw her
candle
working
in the
it.
studio.
And this, the one of the playhouse here, this is her granddaughter. This is an actual structure that Annelle's husband did as far as building the playhouse, and so Annelle wanted to have a painting of the playhouse itself.
And he's quite the craftsman himself with
Oh,
woodworking.
yes,
so
yes, that's
the
what he's
talent runs in that family.
Across the way, we can see what Dee Askins, whom folks here in Clinton no doubt remember.
Sure.
She lives several miles away now, but comes back for class. And so we have two paintings by her, and here is what Jerry Carter, who we were seeing in painting the house over in the classroom, had done.
Very nice.
This
I like this.
this from a photograph of an old barn, which he had modified to give it a real sense of greater composition, but also as far as bringing out some of the particular textures and whatnot in a way that you really just can't get in any other medium than this.
It's beautiful.
And the following, the other one here shows a little diversity that Jerry puts into things as he worked in such detail here with the on this painting of the hawk. Down the line is done by Deborah King, who rides up from with Dee Askins for class.
It's a pretty scene.
This is the first painting that she did when she came into the class,
Is that right? Wow.
and so
It's
it
beautiful.
was quite a learning experience for us. And
So a beginner can produce something like that?
yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, we work out the particulars and work very closely all the way through.
Beautiful.
All the way through. This is the follow on. This is the second one that she done.
Great.
And moving on down the line, we have the we saw Deanna over there, who Deanna was telling you about having
Right.
sort of just gotten started. And, the one that we're looking at now was the second one that she did, and
She chooses dramatic subject matter, doesn't she?
she does. You can very much see that in the next one that we have there. She'll bring in some ideas. We'll work with them the visual references that she brings in, tailor them to what's going to work best, and go at it.
It's an interesting composition.
The next ones we see down the line were done by a lady from Dunn, where incidentally I happen to be from, and so she's done her grandchildren. These are two of the grandchildren. She has two others, and she's done portraits of them. So back across the way, these paintings, the 5 that we will see here, are done by a mother and daughter, and a family friend from Newton Grove who come in. The one that we're looking at now actually went up to a show in Raleigh that the community college had the community college headquarters, and when they were having these show pieces submitted from the different colleges, so it was on display there for about 2 years, and it's recently come back to us.
Great. As we move along,
We see the next 3 that were done by Dolores Murphy, whom we noted working on a portrait there in the classroom. What she's found as an area of particular concern is what's happening as far as the refugee situation in the world, particularly in Africa. And so she's done a number of pieces that relate to that.
she had the one with the beautiful headdress that the lady was wearing that she was working on.
That's one connected. Back across the way, we can see what Tina Rich has been doing. She's more often than not is using an equine subject here.
That's charming.
The next 2 down. Let that one go. Let's look back across, and see the ones that were done. Recall we were talking about what Linda Price was doing. She did these 3, and we have next what Christy Jordan has done. You may have noticed, we didn't dwell on it, but over in the studio. But Christy is working on a painting of a aircraft carrier now.
Okay.
Haven't done
Let's
that.
see. Okay.
As we continue, we see some pieces that Ashley Melvin has done. She has a very unique style, as you can see, and she works very from the in this mode through a variety of subjects. We see what Linda Williams has produced here with these.
I do like these bottles.
You'll notice something of a variety of what Linda tackles subject-wise,
Exactly.
and all of her result extremely high quality.
Yes, and is this why you were listening to Elvis down in the studio?
Linda has for years been an Elvis fan,
That's what I figured.
and so we have painted portraits of him in one mode or another.
And another one of Linda's paintings here?
Another of
Right
Linda's, right. Sabrina Sternbeck, who painted these 3 pieces, is just now in the 2nd year of working in our classes here.
These are impressive for a second
Yeah,
year.
very much so.
Well, Walt, this show is beautiful, and tell our viewers a little bit about maybe registering for classes or how they can get more information, learning more about some of the art classes.
Well, the contact, of course, this through continuing education. We'll be within just a couple of weeks. We'll be ending up this semester, of course.
Right.
But we'll start back in the fall. Actually, the 8th and 9th of September
Okay.
will be when our next classes begin.
Okay, so
And-
if someone wants to get started, but they'll need to be registered before then, correct?
Well, actually, we do the registration at the first class.
Okay.
And so, for those who are in the classes already, of course, they are on the mailing list. We send out the notification to them, and then they come to the first class, and they are set, and we sign up. They bring the money.
Right.
We fill out the forms, and then
Easy
then we
enough.
start painting and
Sounds like
drawing.
no hassle
hassle.
registration. Great. Well, I appreciate you talking with us today, Walt, and letting us take a peek into your classroom as we kick off this new series with the foundation for, looking into the classrooms and seeing what's going on here at Sampson Community College. And if our viewers want to learn more about the art classes or any of the continuing ed classes or curriculum, they can check it out at sampsoncc.edu. Thanks.